Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for this quick presentation of Twinmotion 2019. My name is Martin, I'm Twinmotion Product Manager. Today I'm going to be doing a three-part presentation. I will first start to show you the Twinmotion 2019 trailer. So in case you missed it, you will see just the major feature that we introduced with this new version. Then in a second time I will dive into Twinmotion, showing you in more detail all those features, showing you how it works, how to use those features. And then in a third time we will make a Q&A session and I will take time to answer all of your questions. So as I said, let's start with the trailer. Okay, so now that everyone is on the same page, let's dive into the new features. So first thing is the new product manager. The product manager is some kind of platform, a tool where you can first download Twinmotion. So here I have my different product. I have Twinmotion. I can check if the project is up to date. I can, of course, the first time I can download it. I have access also to my different add-ins for both ArchiCAD and Revit. I have also the key server. So it's just a platform where you can find all the downloads regarding Twinmotion. In this product manager, we also put some useful articles, some useful tutorials for the community. So here we have a tutorial regarding the reflection. We have a tutorial regarding the creation of PBR materials. We have some changelog for the new version. Just try to create something for the community to gather around, where they can find all the information they need regarding Twinmotion. So now let's dive into the features inside Twinmotion. So the first things we have created is some new decals. The decals were already present in Twinmotion. We have just added more than 100 new decals. You can find those decals in the furniture folder, decals. And here we have some new decals for the roads. It's the decal that you can see over here. What we have also, we have some parking slots, some manhole, some more graffiti, some leaking, some stain, some dirt, just to, as you can see on my road, just to make it more realistic, more believable. We also have some signs to hang out, some leaves as well. After the decal, we have worked on construction pack. To show you this, I will just change the phase, switch to my working phase. So in this construction pack, we have three different things. We have some character with a new set of animation. We have some object dedicated to the construction and some new vehicles. So first, let's start with the characters. These characters, you can find them in the library, of course, in the human section. When you drag and drop a character, it will take a random color preset, so you can change, of course, the color. It's the same things as all the characters inside Twinmotion library. You can choose the worker set of animation and change between all the different new animation. So here we have 6 different new characters, 4 worker and 2 that can act as an architect, which are wearing casual clothes but with a helmet on. After this pack of characters, we have some new vehicles. Some of them are on the path. Maybe not around here, but it's the 2 that you can see here. It's the 2 vans. You can find them at the bottom of the car library. It's the 2 vans over here. We also have some new character in the MISC section. We have some animated digger, some truck, some mixer truck, some bulldozer. So just some new vehicles to when you are creating some kind of phasing on your project, when you want to show some construction step of your project. So we have just added more things to do that. Then it's the pack of objects. You can find this pack of objects in the furniture section, city, and at the bottom right we have the construction pack. And each object that you can see here is a pack of objects. So for example, if I drag this pack of objects here, I can of course just select this one and just move this one around here. I can just detach any object I want and move it inside my project, and I can delete the other object if I don't want them. So it's really a pack of objects. It's not just one big set that is fixed. So you can just place your set of objects and pick whatever object you want and place it whatever you want. So that's it for the construction set. Next thing we have worked on is the new flags. Flags, we have some over here. The flags, you can find them under the city folder at the bottom left. We have the new flags folder. To drag a flag in the viewport, it's the same way as any object. You just drag your object and drop it in the viewport. And for the flags, we have implements in Twinmotion in the folder where Twinmotion installed. We have implemented more than 500 texture of flags. So all the country, some region, some event, like the overlapping games, stuff like that. So for example, my flag is inside my viewport. I can click on the texture button, click open, and here I have access directly inside Twinmotion to all the country flags. So this project is located in Chicago in Illinois. So here I'll just select my Illinois flag and apply it to my flag. Of course, if I have a custom flag, I can just open it, switch to my desktop, and look for my flag, my own texture. Next thing is the wind speed. So here, when I click on the wind speed, it's actually a shortcut that will switch me to the Nature tab, Weather Effect. And here we have two new options. The first is the wind speed. So for example, if I set it to 0, there is no more speed. It's affecting my flags, but also my vegetation. So let's just add a little bit of wind. And here I can just change the direction of the wind. Next thing, we'll just switch to a new demo scene because I want to show you a few interior objects. So here we are. We were in already an exterior or an urban area. Let's switch to an interior project. So for this project, I want to show you a few interior objects, a few decoration items that we bring with this new version. Those items, you can find them in the furniture, home, living room, and decoration. So here we have added some frames, some shelf with some frame on it. We have also some rugs. So it's just some more objects to enhance the realism, to enhance the quality of your interiors. And the frames that you can see here, for example, or the one over here. We have also added some rugs, as I told you. If I scroll down to the bottom of the library, we have some carpets, like here. And for those carpets, we have created a new shader, the long pile carpet that you can see here. I will show you that in a bit. And one new thing that we introduced with this new version is the possibility to change material directly on Twinmotion native objects. So for example, here is just this carpet over here, but at any moment you can just open the material section. For example, open the fabric materials, and I can simply drag and drop this material from my library to my object, which come from the native library of Twinmotion objects. So just a new option. And for example, here I have my new shader, and I have a few new options. I can change the height of the fiber. I can change the tiling of it. Next thing we have worked on is the user library. So if I open up the user library, now that you can see, you can create some folder. So for example, you can just click on the plus, you can create folder, you can rename it. Oops, sorry. For example, we'll just add this to my user library. To add an object to a folder, it's just a basic drag and drop from the library. You select just the object, you drag and drop in the folder. If you want to remove it, you just delete, you just cut, you come back, paste. So we just worked on the user library to make it more user-friendly. Same here for the bed. So this bed is it's not from Twinmotion library. I've imported it with my project, so I can just right-click on it, add to user library, create the thumbnail, and I can just select my bed and move it into my furniture folder. So next thing that you may have noticed is on the background here we have some mirror, and it's also part of the new reflection enhancement. So here I'm not using the official release, I'm using the dev build we are currently working on, because we are still working on the software. We just released a patch, I think it was yesterday. So it's based on the feedback the user gave us. So yes, we keep working on software. We just released a patch fixing a few issues we had with this new version, adding some new things as well. And here I'm also, so as I told you, I'm working on the latest version. It's not the official build. So yes, the mirror. So let me first remove the thing that make it a bit pretty and explain you how the reflection work inside Twinmotion. So by default, the reflection look like this. Actually, in all the real-time application, real-time engine like Twinmotion, everything that is present is inside the reflection is what is present inside the viewport. So for example, here I don't see what's behind the camera, so it's not present in the reflection. But if I move my camera on the side over here, as you can see, everything that is present in my viewport, the geometry that I can see here, the start of my bed, my wall, the frames, all this information is put inside the reflection. It's called the screen space reflection, and it's a way to how can I tell you? It's a way to optimize, so all the whole scene is not rendered all the time. Everything that is inside the viewport is rendered. It's a way to be it's the best way to have some frame rate inside a real-time application like this. So what we have developed is inside the volume section, reflection probe. It's called the box reflection probe and the sphere reflection probe. And what it does, it creates a 360 image from this point in the space, and it applies this image to all the objects within the radius that you can see over here. So yeah, it's really simple. So it's just a basic 360 image. So it's really a static reflection. So if you, for example, if I had a path of people walking on the background, I won't see them moving. But it's really static. But it's a way to fake the reflection inside a real-time application like this. Next thing that we have is the new different view. You can switch to the top, to the front, left, and those views are really a placing tool. I can change the clipping to, for example, to clip through my different floors, and here we can switch to the interior and, for example, place object. But as I told you, it has really been designed to be a placing tool, so I can precisely place my object. I can open it here, for example, the transform to have the proper position of the object I have selected. So just to place objects. Next thing I want to show you is on another project. So I will open up a new project. So we have already seen an urban project, now this interior one. Now I will switch to a more nature with some vegetation, with small river over here. So we have already talked about the new materials. We also some new shaders. So we have two different new folders: the modeling, where you can find some clay, some carved wood, 3D printed materials, and the most important for me is the translucent materials. It's just a basic material that you can drag and drop, which make this kind of translucency. But this material actually has been created in addition to the clay render. So to enable the clay render, you first have to be in a media. So here I'm just creating an image. I will click on the more visual effect. I will open the clay render, and here I will enable it. I have a few options. I can first, for example, change the filter, so I can disable my filter on the glass or the water, for example. I can change the color, make it a bit more white. I can change the translucency of it. So it's not the transparency, it's the translucency. It's how much the light is going through the material, but you won't see through the object. It's just the light that is going through the material. So again, I can change at any time the filter. I can disable the filter on the vegetation. I can enable the filter on or just the characters, for example. So if I drag and drop a character from the library, only the character will be affected by this clear render filter. One new option that you may have noticed is the two buttons that I have on the right here. It's the back to media and the quit media mode. Those two buttons is just some shortcuts. So for example, here in this precise car, we were working on the media. I was creating a perspective of my project with the clear render, but once I drag this character from the library to the viewport, I just switch to the selection dock of this specific character, this specific item. So I can change the color, the pose, the animation. And here this button is just a shortcut to switch me back to the media I was working on. So it's just a basic shortcut, but it's really handy when you are working on the software. Next we have some new lighting options. So let me switch to the night. Just give time to the global illumination to have the final state. So if I come to the more lighting, we have some new options. I can change the moon power. I can change the phase of the moon. I can change the stars intensity. So just some basic new option. We also have the new ambient occlusion option, which was highly requested by the community. So it's an option that raises the shadow of the contact when the objects contact each other. Next thing, as you may have noticed in this when I just show you the lighting, is that we have reorganized a few docks. So first thing here, we have a new dock especially for the lighting, where we have put all the options regarding the lighting. It's not anymore in the weather dock. We have a new option in the localization, is the compass that you can see here. It's just a visual helper that helps you to precisely set up the north of your project. In the urban dock here, we also have made a lot of organization. In the context option, we have the background and the context. In the path, we have all the 4 different paths, and we have two new tools, the camera align. So here, once I select my tool, if I click on a geometry, this will align my camera to the geometry I'm clicking on. I click on my roof, and it will just align the camera like this. And next thing that we have is if I come back in my breadcrumb, is the measure tool. The measure tool, I will just select my tool, and here I will just move my mouse in my viewport, and it will just give me the information of the measurement from this point to the point upstairs. I can drop some measure like this, and just click, drag and drop. My measure, I have a few options. I can change the text position, I can change the scale of my measure, I can change the color of it, and I can also at any time, for example, let me just put it on my side over here, I can disable the constraint, select my second sphere over here, and just move it and measure, for example, on the diagonal. And by default, the measure tool works. It traces a ray perpendicular to the point you are clicking on, and once it touches geometry, just stop. It's really straightforward. Finally, let me just come outside. One of the major features, not major one, but it's really highly requested by the community, is the option that you can find over here in the camera setting. It's the perspective correction. Just an option that we were missing in Twinmotion, so it was really highly requested by the community, so now it's directly in Twinmotion. So finally, a few options that we'll just talk over because I can't really show you them. The first thing is we have worked on the add-in, so now it's up to two times faster for the synchronization. And most important, we have added an option to collapse your geometry. So for example, working with Arcade and Revit, each piece of your geometry will be detached from each other. So for example, if I select a glass panel, all the part of the frame will be a separate object, and the glass itself will be a separate object. And Twinmotion can handle thousands, millions of objects, millions of polygons, sorry, but not thousands of objects. So when you import your project with the add-in, now you have the option to collapse your geometry by different type. For example, you can collapse by materials. That means that if all your walls share the same materials, during the import we'll collapse all your walls in one big object. And it's really depending on what you are willing to do afterward inside Twinmotion. If you want to have a high frame rate, if you want to create a VR experience, it's really a must-have, must-use options. Next, it was present inside the trailer is the new VR menu. Can't show you here because I don't have the VR headset plugged in. But in this new VR menu, we are bringing some option to work in VR, so we can change the season, change the time of day, change the weather. You can call different point of view. You can call your image, your panorama. You can even change materials directly immersed in virtual reality. So just new option, more option to work with your project. Now the camera position is saved. So for example, if I save my project with this camera position over here facing my project, once I open back my project, I will be in this position. We can loop path, so let me just come over here. I will just really quickly create a path of characters. And the last point, I can just snap it to the first one, like here. I can just drag here, it will make a loop, and if I raise the density, just so people won't appear and disappear at the start and at the finish of the path. And I think that that's it for today. That's it for the new main new feature that we bring with this Twinmotion 2019. So now I can start to answer some questions. So if you have some questions, you can start to ask them in the chat panel, and I will start to answer them. So I will just put on the background the trailer, so it's a bit more fancy, and waiting for the questions to arrive. I can invite you to come join us to our different social network, especially Facebook, the official Twinmotion page, but also the Twinmotion user group. We have a great community here of people that are sharing their work, but also some people that are trying to find some answer, asking some question. There is a lot of people, an emulation around Twinmotion over here. So just type Twinmotion user group on Facebook if you want to join. And yeah, as I said, feel free to ask any question if you have some. Also, if some of you didn't already try it, Twinmotion is free. There is a 20 days free trial version, so you can try it. And even after the 20 days, you still have Twinmotion. It's just that the save option is locked, so you can't save anymore. But you will be able to import and work on your project if you want to try it. Just try the new feature. So yeah. I want you to be exportable to Unreal. First question, I want you to be exportable to Unreal. Yes, it's we are working on it. We are making some big progress on it. It's a feature that will come. We don't know when yet, but we are working on it. Not a lot of question today. So as I told you, if you have any more questions in the future, join us on the Facebook page. It's the best way to reach the community and also to reach us, the developers and all the team, the Twinmotion team. So if you just have some question, just join us on the Twinmotion user group. If you join a bit late, you will be able to watch back the webinar. So you just click on the link you have received by email. It will be possible to watch it back for 1 week, and then afterward the link will be blocked. So I think that's it for the questions. I hope you like this presentation, and if you are more in question in the future, we have a second webinar this afternoon. It will be 5 p.m. CET time, so if you have more questions, join for this webinar. And thanks for attending this presentation, and I wish you a great day. Bye.